Thank you all for coming here. At the outset, I want to thank Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, Indo-French Chamber of Commerce for putting this industrial regional summit together and bringing diverse topics, thought leaders, and industry stalwarts across the sector to deliberate on the topics which is very relevant in how do we accelerate India's journey to become a developed economy by 2047. The topic that we are going to deliberate today is on sustainable water resource management. Water easily is the most precious resource we have. In fact, it is said that the Third World War will be fought on water. You can already recall that during the India-Pakistan skirmish, there was so much bone of contention going around the Indus Water Treaty. Water has always been very central to humanity, to society, to industry, and if you really look at it, to the overall progress of mankind. If you look at India, world's largest populated nation with a 1.5 billion and growing, which is about 18% of global population, we have only 4% of the water reserves. Now that's a very lopsided equation, which also means that we need to use this resource very carefully. Unfortunately, water is not a priced commodity. So the awareness about water is, although growing every day, but still leaves a lot to be desired. I wonder whether any of you coming from Bangalore, which had the recent scare about the water availability, can vouch, or Cape Town is another town which actually reported that there were water resources depleting to beyond the limit. Thanks to rapid industrialization, urbanization, unsustainable agricultural practices, mindless consumption of water as a resource, we've been consuming more than what we get, which means, according to a report, last year was the first year where groundwater recharge was lower than actually the extraction, which means that we were extracting more water than actually the groundwater could store. Now that puts a lot of questions on the sustainable growth of our economy. If you take any industry, water is very central, whether it is the sunrise industries like semiconductor, global capability centers, data centers, so much talk about AI these days. Without water, the data centers couldn't survive, whether it is cooling, HVAC, fire, you can go on and on. I'm blessed to have accomplished panelists throw insights on this very central and critical topic on sustainable water resource management. So what we are going to do is I'm going to go around them for a quick opening comments about who they are, who they represent, what they do. And then we'll dive into 2 rounds of question and answers. And then we'll wrap up. And should time allow us, and should organizers allow us, we'll see if we can take a question or two. All right, my name is Dr. Ravindra Utgikar. I represent a company called Wilo Platforms Limited. Also, my colleague sitting here. Wilo is in sustainable water transportation solutions. We are a 152-year-old German company which has presence in over 50 countries. On a personal level, I am very passionate about sustainability, academics, technology, climate change, environment. I write multiple columns on these topics. I have long-standing association with academic institutions where I've written a number of case studies. I have been academic reforming positions with leading institutions, and looking forward to this great interaction.
Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thanks to Indo-German Chamber of Commerce for giving us this opportunity. I am Mukul Pendse. I am working with Wilo Platforms Private Limited. as a regional manager, sales and marketing for West region. I've been with this company for almost last 15 years, looking after sales and marketing. And Wilo is as Dr. Utgikar said, 150-year-old German MNC. And in India, we have spread over almost all states. We are working in major three segments. One is building segment, another is water management, and third is industry. So in these segments, all sub-segments we are catering with our product, that is centrifugal pumps with different technologies as per the applications. We are manufacturing these pumps in India. We have three manufacturing plants. One is in Shirwar, one is in Kolhapur, and one is in Kolkata. So with these products, the major contribution towards business is from water management, where we, as we said, we actually move water from one place to another, and we help people to get the water at their doorstep. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mukul, I'm going to start with you because you made a very interesting comment about we move water from one place to another. That's, I think, in technical language called as inter-basin water transfer. So I can understand that there are some areas which have surplus water, another are deficient in water. So you help move water from one place to another. How does that help sustainable development? How does that help to achieve the sustainable growth? If you can throw some light.
As you say, there are certain areas where we have excess monsoon, some river basins, and the flood situation occurs everywhere in that area. And there are some area where there is a deficit of water. So these kind of projects started I will say inception of this kind of project started from 2005 from the state governments and central governments. That is called as inter-basin river linkage project. So one water from one river basin is transferred to another river basin where there is a deficient in water. And in such projects, there are advantages that where there is an excess of water, we can minimize the flood situation, and where there is no water, the availability of the water is there, and that can be used for maybe agriculture or drinking purpose or industrial purpose. So when there is a deficit of water, where if you give the water to these communities, these people, definitely they grow their crop, maybe not only Kharif, maybe they grow crop on Rabi also. But for these particular projects, there are certain aspects which impact maybe on ecological side and the environmental side also. So when we are going for such kind of project, we have to take care of these basically impacts aspects, where when you transfer the river flow, the aquatic life has to be taken care. The fishing migration, fish migration has to be taken care. There is a soil transfer from one river basin to another river basin that has to be taken care. So these are basic aspects. If you consider in the design aspect, then these projects can be very much sustainable. How it can become a sustainable to a society? In such project, first we have to take consideration about the community of a beneficiary. We have to educate them, we have to show them that how these projects are beneficiary to them and how they are contributing to their positive growth, maybe their economical growth and their social growth. Second thing is we have to use high energy efficient pumping systems in these particular river linkage projects, where we can connect this pumping system with smart monitoring system to reduce the operating cost and the maintenance cost, which will become this project a financial viable project. The third main part is wherever possible, we can convert this electrical energy dependency into renewable energy, where solar or wind. So such kind of, if you implement such kind of solutions, and the last part of this project is when this water is used in the agriculture, we have to go for micro irrigation with the pressurized distribution network, where we can save at least minimum 20% of water. So when we are putting lot of energy, putting lot of money into transferring water from one part to another part, and if we are not saving that water, then it is a waste. So then it not become a sustainable. So with this kind of all aspect, if we consider, then these projects can become a sustainable. I will give one example, sir. There is one of the project in Madhya Pradesh which was implemented in 2015. That is Narmada Malwa Gambhir project. So water from Narmada river, excess water, is transferred to basin of Gambhir river. And while transferring this, the design is made such that wherever possible, they have used the gravity solution. Wherever it is required to, this design is like that, they have to use a pumping solution. The 50,000 hectare land was come under the farming and agriculture, where they are getting only one crop per year. That is not to be 100% confident that if the rains are there, then only they can grow one crop. Otherwise, there is no crop. But with this project, they are starting getting two crops. And the advantage of that, the reverse migration has started. The people are staying in another big cities or another states. They came back to their villages and start doing farming. So if you go to see the analysis of MP government agriculture GDP, in last 15 years, the agriculture GDP of MP government has increased by 2.4 times. This is incredible. And because of such kind of projects, the agriculture sustainability, product sustainability there, and these projects sustainability is basically because of all these reasons.
This is very central. One of the best argument I have come across is, if air quality and water quality is central to climate action, do we know what the cost of climate change is? In other words, the climate change cost runs in trillions of dollars, multiple trillions of dollars. And if we don't do this small fixes well, ultimately we will pay very high. All right, so Mukul, I think the clock is running fast, but if you can quickly highlight what is the role of pump and pumping systems and energy efficiency in the sustainable water resource management. Real quick, please.
It is pump and pumping system is basically play a very vital role in energy efficient pumping systems. These kind of systems basically used in large volume of water, transferring large volume of water for maybe irrigation or municipal corporation, or maybe some like steel and refineries. So these kind of systems requires very high energy, and if we go for a high energy pumping system, then only it becomes a sustainable and financial viable. The basic two things I will just highlight. The one is the pump hydraulic efficiency has to be maximum with for respect to required flow and head conditions or design conditions. The second main important part is motors that have required a high electrical energy to drive the pump. How we choose the motors? Are we going for a premium efficiency motors or not? Okay, capital cost is high for premium efficiency motors, but the overall operating cost is very low as compared to standard motors where capital cost is low. So maybe we are going for i3, i4, now i5 is there for specific industries. i5 is now becoming a popular. Another part is, are we using VFD to operate the motors? Because in many cases, the load is not constant. There is a variable load conditions. And for operating this variable or attending these variable load conditions, we require VFD which optimize the operating cost, or it will lower the operating cost for the overall pumping system. Along with that, the last important thing is, are we using advanced monitoring tools for this pumping system, which may be IoT or SCADA or AI-based tools. So all these, we have different sensors attached to this, and these sensors will give real-time picture how our health is for our pumping system. And this data, when we analyze, we definitely predict the preventive maintenance when it is required. And if you can do that preventive maintenance, the life of the system will be longer, energy will again or efficiency will get restored again, and we will get a better result from this system. So if you consider these 2-3 points while selecting the high energy efficient pumping system, definitely it becomes a very sustainable, financially viable system where operating cost is very low.
I mean that's what we believe, and in Wilo method and flat we always say there is a water, energy, food, and economy connection, which is kind of inseparable from each other. So when you are actually impacting water in a positive way, you are actually facilitating food security, energy security, also more than anything else, economic security. In last about 30 minutes, panel deliberated on various aspects, whether it is about, inter-basin water transfers, impacting agriculture, impacting economy, impacting renewable energy, cost of the water in terms of ROI, in terms of differential impact it creates because of the policy makers. We need, because it's a team sport, we need a collective responsibility. I do want to compliment Indo-German Chamber of Commerce and Indo-French Chamber of Commerce for bringing to the fore this very contemporary topic, bringing thought leaders together, deliberating on the topics, taking some enriched perspective back home to be applied in your day-to-day lives, in your industrial usage, which only will see that we are diligently using water and we are therefore marching very strongly towards sustainable development goals, because water, I think, dissects about 7 or 8 sustainable development goals. All of them, to be honest, because they are all very fundamental.
Just one question is that 20% of the water is being used by the industry, and industry is expected to conserve it for sure. And within industry, I see that majority of this 20% is being used by the machines, either at the process plant or for the machine cooling, equipment cooling. The minimum portion goes to the human comfort and human consumption. So, is there any technology which is actually working upon the waterless machines, waterless process plant that will save a substantial portion of the load? So, do you have any idea of this?
Our whole pitch is water is very central. Not to anyone's knowledge that there could be a conceptual. See that from the idea, innovation, commercialization, it has to pass through a valley of death. So maybe on the WhatsApp university, we may have some fantastic technologies that we see, but in day-to-day life, to make it through the valley of death, we haven't seen that functioning. Even if it's functioning on a pilot scale, the game is to take it on a commercial scale, make it viable, proliferate the last bottom of the pyramid. We have not seen that happen yet, and none of us see that happening in the times to come. All right, then I think on that note, thank you very much. You've been a fantastic panelist. In my 20 years of public speaking, I have never seen a session ending on a clock, surgical precision to the second. Yeah, I'm sure you agree.
Yes.
So you've been fantastic panelists. You've been great audience. Thanks again.